now we're talking about who will be my trustee on death. As I said, that's a different job. My trustee when I'm incapacitated is a different job. When I'm dead, there's usually less urgency. Nobody's taking care of me anymore. They're just taking care of my money and following my instructions. So we have a lot of trustees after death who live elsewhere. They might live on the East Coast, and it works just fine. You know, we have Zoom, we have email, we have telephone, we have everything you could possibly need to make remote work doable. And we have discovered that in the last few years, it's definitely doable. So a remote trustee after death is probably just fine. It is very important, again, that you pick someone who is responsible and will actually get the job done. We can't have, you know, procrastination. We can't have dilly-dallying. We've got to have someone who's going to roll up their sleeves and get to work, get the job done. Of course, they have to be trustworthy. That's why we call them the trustee. So I like to, whenever there's an opening in a conversation with a client, I like to make a suggestion that they consider using a professional as their trustee. It's not right for everyone. You know, there are families where there's only one child, we're leaving everything to that one child. That would be easy enough for the child to be the trustee and get it done. But a professional trustee can be advantageous in a lot of situations. So, you know, if you have multiple children, and in most families I meet with, they think their children get along just fine. And I'm sure they do, but you don't really know, you never will know as a parent what's happening when you're not in the room, and especially what happens after you're gone. And a lot of times the parents are what kind of hold the family together and hold everybody in their proper positions. It's just something to think about. So there are people in California, we call them licensed professional fiduciaries. They do this for a living. This is their business. They have been trained. They've taken a test to become a professional fiduciary. They have background checks, fingerprints. They're bonded. You know, all of this through the state of California. It's an official license that they get from the state of California, and they have to do continuing education to maintain their license, and they are allowed to be the trustee for people who aren't related to them. That's their business. They are neutral, so, you know, if there's any danger that your children won't get along, having a neutral person might be a good thing. The other thing about the professionals I have found, so we don't serve as trustees for people. We serve as the lawyer for the trustee. So if somebody dies, now their trustee needs a lawyer to help them figure out what they're supposed to do. We do that. We don't serve as trustees. But I do serve as the lawyer for some licensed professional fiduciaries, because when they're serving as a trustee, they also need a lawyer to help them figure out what they're supposed to do. But what I will say is when my client is a professional fiduciary, I hardly ever see them, because they know exactly what they're doing. They call me up when they need my help, but most of the time they are off doing the trustee's job. They don't need my help because they know what they're doing. It's what they do for a living. My family member trustees, when I'm the attorney for a family member trustee, we spend a lot of time with our clients because they don't know what they're doing. We have to educate them. We have to make sure they don't make mistakes. We have to fix their mistakes. there are much larger legal fees when we have a family member trustee. I'm going to put that out there because whenever I suggest, well, maybe you should think about a professional fiduciary, a lot of clients will say, oh, but that costs money. It does cost money. It does. But it can save your family from the kinds of epic battles that result in everybody having Thanksgiving in their own home. You know, and it actually, it might be just about the same in terms of cost when you factor in the fact that the professional fiduciary doesn't need a lot of help from the lawyer. So again, I'm not advocating, I just want you to think about it. That can be a really good option. What I would say, when you're trying to figure out who should be the trustee after you die and you have multiple children, I would just love it if you would talk to those children before you finalize anything. Just say, you know, Mom and I are thinking we're going to name oldest daughter as the trustee. How does everybody feel about that? Get there, you know, take the temperature before you do anything.
If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcounsel.com/scheduling.